So I'm going to try and save you some time. If you come across anyone online claiming to practice functional medicine and telling you need some test or some treatment, you can safely disregard pretty much everything they say. And this is not to be dismissive, but it is because functional medicine is a form of pseudoscience. It's dressed up in the robes of actual science, but it is not. So what is it? Well, let's go back to its history. Functional medicine began life as a marketing term in the 1990s and then became a non-profit foundation in the early 2000s. Its essential tenets are there's everything about what they call the bio-individuality of a person. And that's kind of a get out of jail free card they use to justify doing pointless tests and giving pointless treatments. It essentially uses a version of the five humors, right? This is very old school medical beliefs that there's mind body imbalances that need to be adjusted, that you need to say detox or take a parasite cleanse or a full moon cleanse or whatever else. And while it's dressed up in the borrowed robes of science, it is very much pseudoscience. But it's also very profitable pseudoscience. And why is it profitable? Because it relies on selling you tests that you don't need. Some of these tests are actually medical tests. They do something, but they're being given for a reason they shouldn't be given. Some of them are absolute and utter bunk. Now, there's a very good reason in medicine you don't overtest, right? You have to be very careful. A doctor should only order you a test if they have a very good idea that this might be something affecting you. Otherwise, it leads to a problem called overscreening, but we'll get into that another time. With functional medicine, they don't care. They're selling you stuff to test for things that you may not have and often diseases which don't exist. A lot of functional medicine practitioners talk about parasite infestation or adrenal fatigue, stuff that is not medically recognized. And the worst and most confusing thing for many members of the public is that many people who push functional medicine actually have medical degrees. They are medical doctors. That doesn't mean they're practicing medical science. It is highly lucrative to work in functional medicine. You firstly have pretty much no responsibility because you can claim everything is to do with the bio-individuality of a patient. So it's a great get out of jail free card for things that don't work. You can claim that you're really treating the symptom, the cause of disease. They love root cause. It's nonsense. The implication, by the way, with functional medicine is that real medicine doesn't function. That is absolute bunkum. All right. And here's the thing. It is a form of vitalism. Vitalism is a school of pre-scientific medicine that talked about energies in the body and balances and things like that. It's complete garbage. We know now that's not how things work, right? It is not science-based. And what it does is it sells, and what we see in Instagram and TikTok and other platforms to some degree, is it sells fear. Oh, you feeling bad? You should get this test. Get this test. This test gives you this result. You need this treatment. And they happen to sell all of it. Isn't that convenient? It's a nonsense. If you're actually feeling under the weather, do not go and self-diagnose or listen to one of these charlatans tell you this stuff. Go to your actual doctor. The one that isn't profiteering off selling you unnecessary treatments and unnecessary tests, right? And this is something that I always say. If someone is trying to sell you something, they have big conflict of interest. Functional medicine started off as life as a marketing term. It is not real science. It is pseudoscience. It is so pseudoscientific that American medical bodies won't recognize it for potential harm it does to patients because it sells often made up diseases to people with often made up tests to keep the worried well, filling the coffers. All right. Don't be part of that scam. If someone claims to be a functional medicine practitioner and they try to give you a diagnosis or sell you a test, ignore them. They're an idiot trying to profiteer off people's fears. And even if they're well meaning, even if they genuinely believe it, well, they're still bloody wrong, aren't they? Right.